Today we're going to explore historic Route 66 through northern Arizona. See some old sites, some newer sites, a few that are just plain weird.
Excuse me, sir? Sir?
We've got a lot to see in the living time capsule that is Route 66. Start things off today in Williams, Arizona. This town was named after a famous frontiersman in the area, William Old Bill Williams. Today it is mostly known as being a junction to the Grand Canyon. It's a highway just north of town that will take you straight to the main south rim of the canyon. It's also a historic railway, runs from Williams to the Grand Canyon. It's supposed to be pretty nice. All around Williams, you'll find tons of free camping locations in these nice wooded areas kind of scattered around. We decided to pass the night here, build ourselves an unusual fire.
I think it needs more layers. Oh man, you're about to go Jenga. Yeah.
All along Highway 64 north of Williams, there's places to pull off and pretend you're a frontiersman and feel cool for the briefest of moments. But clumsiness aside, it was a nice place to pass a night. Enjoyed a good evening here, had ourselves a fire, enjoyed a little bit of fine tequila, and even saw a bit of wildlife in the area. The reviews online for this site mentioned bear and mountain lion. We saw some deer roaming around the nearby prairie. That was pretty awesome. Just a bit before sunset, I had to post up with my nature scope and check out this little, is that like a whitetail or something? Not too sure.
Oh.
Gotta rake the forest.
Okay, and back on the Mother Road, heading west through Arizona. Next stop is the birthplace of Route 66. It's the town of Seligman, said to be the main inspiration for the Disney Pixar movie Cars. Seligman was infamously one of the bypassed towns when the nearby interstate was built, all but became a ghost town overnight after seeing its heyday in the 1950s and 60s, when westward car travel was extremely popular. Parked here in front of one of the landmarks of Seligman, the Supai Motel, built back in 1962, and is located just across the street from perhaps the most important site along the entirety of Route 66.
That is the man.
Angel Delgadillo was born in 1927, right here in Seligman. Just 1 year after the completion of Route 66, it's no doubt something he grew up with his entire life. Fast forward to 1950, when he opened his barber shop here, giving haircuts and pleasant exchanges to people passing by the Mother Road. All the way up until the 1970s, the town of Seligman became a bit of a ghost town, as I mentioned. However, just a decade later, in the late 1980s, Angel and other residents of the town of Seligman got together, had it designated a historic site for folks like myself to drive through and enjoy for decades to come. It's largely the theme of the movie Cars. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. Obviously, the influence of that can still be seen today. There's all kinds of cool cars out here, including this sweet old Dodge that caught my eye. Love those old rear windows. So much character. This one looks to have solar on the roof. Pretty interesting. A lot of the service stations and things here date back to the early 1910s and 20s, a lot of which have been revitalized thanks largely to the efforts of people like Angel Delgadillo. That's why today it is still a popular tourist attraction with many existing businesses. We came through here on a weekday and there was still a lot of stuff open, a lot of people stopping, taking pictures, a lot of cool old motorcycle shops and cars and stuff like that. Seligman is definitely a town you should stop in if you're ever driving along I-40 through Arizona. Alright, time to get back on the road. Got a lot more to see, a lot more cool historic old places along this Mother Road. Now, Seligman had the fortunate circumstances of being rather close to Highway I-40, so it is not much of a detour, but a lot of these old towns have to veer quite a bit off the highway, which is exactly what we're going to do today. And you know you're in the right place when you start seeing these old Burma Shave signs where they slowly deliver you a message over a couple of miles of random road. I was surprised by the amount of construction on this lone stretch of road. They're definitely still building a bit and still investing, which is a nice thing to see for fans of Route 66 like myself. Next stop is the town of Hackberry, where this general store you see here opened all the way back in 1934. It was definitely one of the coolest stops we saw on the day. The place is essentially a museum of mid century advertisements and old cars left out to the elements here in the desert. Definitely saw some really unique ones.
A what?
A fire dome?
I ain't heard of it. DeSoto.
Soto fire dome.
Mm.
We spent a good amount of time just wandering the grounds, kind of taking it all in. This must have been a service station or something.
Garage.
A lot of cool stuff to see around here, but eventually got to go inside, see what the inside's all about, which was, of course, similarly interesting. Tons of cool old car-related road trip stuff, a lot of just mid-century theming, bunch of cool old-timey stuff to look at. This place was really cool. And another business that shut down in the late 1970s when I 40 was completed. It was until 1992 when a local artist named Bob Waldmeyer decided to revitalize the Hackberry store, purchased it, rebuilt a bunch of things, and he is also a rather famous inspiration for the movie Cars. And he was the original owner of the Volkswagen bus that ended up being a character in the film. Hackberry, definitely one of the cooler old sites along Route 66. And just a few miles away from one of the cooler new sites you'll see, this is the town of Antares, not too far from Hackberry. Former Ranchero Motel sits here. It is now a souvenir shop. However, in front of it sits one of the more interesting art installations you'll see along this road. This is Giganticus Heticus, built by an artist named Greg Arnold. Came through this area and left several art installations along here of weird, eclectic stuff, and of course, a few old timey cars. He also built this amazing sculpture of this rather buxom woman.
Blood on that thing.
She stands tall out here, though. It's a pretty cool thing to check out. Definitely stands out amongst the landscape here. Anything unique like that to get people off the road, those are the little things you love to see along Route 66, and there's no shortage of them, no shortage of railroad history, which is exactly what you'll see plenty of here in Kingman, and is our final stop along Route 66. And Kingman features one of the better museums dedicated to Route 66. It is located inside the historic Powerhouse building, named for the steam-powered power plant that once was held inside before the completion of the Hoover Dam. This was how residents of Kingman would have got their power via steam. Today it features a rather nice gift shop, a lot of cool artwork dedicated to Kingman, and it's dog friendly. Look at that. Plenty of gift shops, certainly, along the Mother Road, but it's an important way that they keep some revenue coming in and keep this part of the world alive for us. Look at Lewis Kingman pictured here, which the town was named. He was a surveyor with the railroads passing through west of Albuquerque. And there's also a large area dedicated to Angel Delgadillo, the man we learned a bit about earlier in Seligman. There are a few photo ops, and you can even hear some words from the man himself.
Started to trickle back into Seligman, and there was a few that ended up in my barber shop and pool hall then. And it's like I'm living it right now. Grown men, gray-haired grown men and women, all sounded like a recording. They told me when I was a little boy, when I was a little girl, this has got to be the highway that my parents drove during the Great Depression when it quit raining in the Midwestern states. At first, I didn't pay no attention to what they said, but I heard it over and over and over.
Not a bad way to end our Route 66 tour here in Kingman. Get yourself a photo underneath the banner here. Kingman's right off the highway too, so really kind of a must stop if you're passing through here. Anyway, we are heading south from here, And through Havasu, the London Bridge area, along the Colorado River, we've got a few more things to see as we make our way back to California. Here at State Line near the town of Parker, this is the Parker Dam you see before you here. And you can't actually drive. That is a road along the top of it. It's exactly the way we crossed over back into California, just barely.
Not far down at all.
Pretty cool feature of this dam are these giant windows you see off to the right. Those are so the doors for the spillways have a place to raise up so they can let water through to alleviate pressure. I'm actually talking to an employee in here about how that operates. Pretty fascinating. Going to continue to work our way south along the Colorado River, stopping to see some friendly burros.
Hello, friends.
Hey, buddy. Hey,
What you doing? Oh, God, he's coming up to me.
Hey, buddy.
I don't have food. I'm sorry.
Hey, buddy.
You're adorable, but no. Don't put your face in here.
Aw.
Look at him. He's like sniffing my van. He's so cute. Hi, friend. Oh, my God.
There are quite a few wild burro in this area. You really see them all over, and they are adorable. They're definitely used to people, which is kind of funny. Anyway, got ourselves a campsite for the night right along the Colorado River. Kind of hard to tell, but that is the river right there. We showed up a little late in the day, so we didn't get a riverfront spot, but still pretty damn close all the same. It's actually a pretty amazing place to camp. It was only $5, too. Might as well be free at that point.
Yeah. That's nice. The mighty Mrs. Wait, what is this?
Colorado.
It looks a lot bigger up close.
It's definitely nice to dip our feet in there, pass a night right along the Colorado River. And from there, you are basically back in California. That river is the state line. Work our way through the sand dunes of Imperial County. Really cool part of the state. The desert is certainly beautiful in its own way. And plenty of windmills out here, god damn. Before you know it, just a couple hours away, back to the Pacific Ocean and the beach, where God pays attention to the weather. It is good to be back. We have seen snow on this trip. We've seen rain, seen uncomfortably hot temperatures. Oh, man, it is good to be back. I can tell you that much. If you made it this far, please throw me a like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.